Hello everyone, in this video we will be discussing the chapter 10, which is Accruals and Prepayments Kaplan Exam Kit. So in this video we will be solving all the Kaplan Exam Kit questions of the chapter number 10. So this is the chapter number 10. So the rules remain the same. Make sure you have a notebook with you, a pen with you, a calculator with you. We need to solve all the questions. Also, before watching this video, make sure that you have watched the study kit video, which is the chapter explanation video. After watching the explanation video, then you can come to this. In case you haven't watched it yet, you can check the description box below. Let's see how many questions we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we have about 12 questions only. So this is going to be a short video. And before starting with the questions, I'll just quickly revise all the formulas so it will be easier for you all. Make sure that you're writing everything and make sure you have a calculator with you. Okay, so if you can recall what accruals and prepayments were, think about it for a second and try to recall what they meant. What was accrual? Okay. Before that, do you recall what accrual basis of accounting is? You remember we had two bases of accounting, right? The first one was the cash basis of accounting and the second one was the accrual basis of accounting. Now, what was the difference between the two bases of accounting? So, when we used to study the cash basis of accounting, it said that no matter for which year the transaction belongs to, we will record as and when we receive the money. And what was accrual? Accrual meant that exactly what is actually the profit or loss, the actual transaction of this year, only that we will be recording. So that was the difference between cash and accrual. So if you go into the detail of it, for example, let's say I am receiving rent 2000, out of which 1000 is of next year. So which means someone gave me an advance of 1000. According to cash basis, I will record it in my books. Why will I record it in my books? Because I have received the cash, even though only 1000 belongs to this year, the rest 1000 belongs to next year, but I have still received the cash. So I will make a note according to the cash basis. As and when I receive the cash, I record it no matter which year it belongs to. Okay. What about accrual? How would a person following accrual basis record the same transaction? Received rent, I received 2000 cash, out of which 1000 is of the next year, only 1000 is of this year. But I have received entire 2000. If I am following the accrual basis, I will record only 1000. Why will I record only 1000? Because only 1000 will give me the true picture of this year, only this belongs to this year. So that is what is the accruals and prepayments. Okay, these are the two bases of accountings. Okay, now, so there are two things, expenditures and incomes. We know that expenditures on one side and incomes on one side. Incomes are when we are receiving the money, there is an inflow, and expenditures are when there is an outflow or when our money is going out. Right, now there are two things, prepaid and accrued. If you can recall it, prepaid and accrued. Now when we're talking about expenditures, what is a prepaid expenditure? Prepaid expenditure, some expenditure which will be occurring in the next period, I have paid for it already. So that is something which I have done in advance. I've prepaid something, so that will be my asset, right? It will be an asset because I have prepaid for something. So if the person does not provide me the services, he is liable to give it back to me. So prepaid expenditure means something I have to give, is always a asset. Now when you talk about accrued expenditure, what is accrued expenditure? I have already reaped the benefits, I have already taken the services, but I haven't paid for it yet. So it is my liability, right? Because I have already taken the services, so I have to pay them back. Okay, take a moment and read it. Now, income. What is income? Income is when somebody else is giving us something. So prepaid income, so someone has given me the income of next month, so in a way it is my liability. They have not taken the services yet, but they have already given me the income, right? So that would be my liability, because in case I fail to provide them with the services, they're liable to take it back from me. What do you understand by accrued income? Accrued income is when somebody has already taken my services, but they haven't paid me yet, which means I have given the services, which means I need to receive the money, right? That is what is accrued. So, accrued income is always an asset because we are yet to receive. This much is clear. Now let's come to the journal entries. Journal entries are easy. We know what's an asset, we know what's a liability, we know the balances. We've done all this in the previous chapter, so I'm not going into the detail of it. Okay. Now, if we're talking about accrued expenditure, what is an accrued expenditure? Recall again without seeing the notes. Accrued expenditure. Expenditure has been incurred. I have to just pay them now. I haven't paid them yet. So we recall that accrued expenditure is a liability. What is the liability? Liabilities have a credit balance. If the expense was, let's say if I paid the expense by cash, what do? Debit expense, credit cash, right? That's what I do. In this case, what I do is I'm crediting my accrued expenditure since a liability has been created, and I debit the expense. Debit expense, credit accrued expenditure. Okay. Prepaid expenditure. Now, what is the journal entry if I have a prepaid expenditure? Think about it. Prepaid expenditure is my asset. So, debit prepaid expenditure and credit expenditure. Okay. Now, thinking about the journal entries of incomes. Accrued income. So, accrued income is my asset. I haven't received the money yet. So, debit accrued income, credit income. And what about the prepaid income? If someone has prepaid me my income, then that is my liability, so I credit it, right? So the journal entry is going to be take a moment and see this. Okay. And after this, we had two accounts. We saw expense account and we saw an income account. Let's quickly revise that. So whenever we had an expense account, what was the format of the same? In expense, opening was always prepaid. If you remember, we had opening prepaid over here. We had closing prepaid over here. We had opening accrued over here. Closing accrued over here. And whenever an expense happens, money goes out, right? So that's going to be expense account debit and bank account credit, right? Bank. So what will come in bank? The amount which has gone out from the bank. Amount paid during the year. How much ever you paid during the year. I hope you're making a note of the formulas. And here the balancing figure will be P&L, which is the balancing figure or the actual amount. After this, we saw how, give me a second. After this, we saw how a income account looks like, right? So let's quickly revise income account also. So in the expense account, you saw on the debit side, the first thing was prepaid. It's the opposite in income. I hope you've learned the formulas. I'm not going into the detail. So this is the opening accrued, closing accrued, opening prepaid, closing prepaid, and in income, bank increases. So bank account debit, credit income. So bank, this is the total amount which is received during the year. This is the P&L, which is the balancing figure. And then you do the balancing. Okay. Now, how much ever you have paid or received during the year, if you add accrued to it, which means something which you are supposed to receive this year, and minus prepaid, which does not belong to this year, this will give me the P&L figure, which is the actual figure. So this is just the shortcut of the this is just the shortcut of our accounts, both income and expenditure. Take a moment and revise all the formulas, and we'll start with the questions. Okay, let us start with the questions and make sure that. So let's quickly just discuss all the questions. We have about 12 questions in this chapter. Leisure company owns two properties which it rents to tenants in the year ended 31st December 2006. It received this much for property 1 and this much to property 2. Now we have also been given the balances of the prepaid as well as the accrued in the question. So we have to basically find the value of P&L. So you can clearly see that income account is to be made in order to find the balances. So what are we supposed to do? We are just supposed to make the income account and then find the P&L balance. So I hope you can solve it by yourself and then you can check it with me. $164, right? Okay. So we will be making an income account for this. Income account. And if you can recall the formats we have just discussed, income account will always have opening accrued over here, closing accrued over here, opening prepaid over here, and closing prepaid over here. And whenever we have an income, money comes in, so bank account gets debited, income account gets credited, and then we have the P&L. So in the question we are required to find the P&L value. So let's go back to the question and see. Okay, so 280,000 and 160,000 were what were received in the bank during the year, right? So we have 280,000 in the bank and 160,000 in the bank. So this is what has been received during the year. Now these are the accrued as well as prepaid balances which are given in the question. So now if you can recall what we have discussed, debit is an asset, credit is a liability, and accrued income is always an asset and prepaid income is our liability, right? We know that. So 2006 would be closing and 2005 would be opening. So let us first see the opening. So we have for property 1 credit is a liability. So 12,300 is my opening prepaid. Okay, I hope you're getting the logic. 12,300 is my opening prepaid. Okay, and then we have debit. So debit is basically my asset. So what is my asset? Accrued is my asset. So I have a 5,400 opening accrued. Now let's go to the 2006 values. That would be my closing values. So for property 1 we have a debit. So debit is an asset. So what is an asset? Accrued income is an asset. So closing accrued is 13,400. Closing accrued is 13,400. I hope you're solving it along with me. And we have 6700 credit is a liability. So prepaid. So we have closing prepaid 6,700. So now we do the balancing. Whatever the balancing is, I hope you're doing it. That would be about 465,700. 465,700. So my balancing figure would be 453,600. So I hope you got the answer. Now we come to the next question, which is 165. Take a moment and read the question and start solving it. Meanwhile, I'm just erasing this. Alright. Okay. So we have Troy Company has a property rental business and received cash totaling to this much. So this much has been received in the cash, which means in the bank. So for the year ended. Figures of rent in advance and arrears. What is arrears? Arrears is accrued. So 2005 will be my opening and 2006 will be my closing. So this is my prepaid and this is my accrued. So we know the format of what are we supposed to find out? We are supposed to find out the P&L value. Again, just like how we did it in the previous question, we need to make an income account and put the values and then we'll be getting the answer. So I think you are smart enough to do it by yourself. The format remains the same. Just put the values directly and you will get the answer. You can check it with me. This would be our answer. Okay, so we are done with 165 also. This question is really important. 165. Let's discuss 165. Details of B company's insurance policies are as follows. Premium for the year ended 31st March 2006 was paid in April 2005. Premium for the year ended 31st March 2007 was paid in 2006. What figure should be included in B company's financial statements for the year ended 30 June 2006? So what is my year of concern? 1st July 2005 to 30 June 2006. So this is my year of concern. So what is our year of concern in this question? My year of concern is 1st July 2005 to 30 June 2006. That is my year of concern. Let's read the question. Details of B company is as follows. Premium for the year ended 31st March 2006 is this much. And premium ending for 31st March 2007 is this much. So how are you going to get the thing? You need from July 5 to June 6. So July, August, September, October, November, December, Jan, Feb, March. So you need 9 into 12 of 10,800 over here. And here we need for the rest of the 3 months only. So that would be 3 by 12 into this, and then you add both of them, whatever answer you get. So that would be something like the total would be 11100. Okay, I hope you're solving it by yourself. 11100. 11100 will be my answer. This would come to my PNL. Now if you see, only 3 months are being used over here. The rest of the 7 months basically, only 3 months are being used over here. The rest of the 9 months are basically advance. So the 9 months are my prepayment, right? So 9 by 12 multiplied by 12,000 would give me my A. The answer would be A. Moving on to 167. Wine company sublets part of its office accommodation to earn rental income. The rent is received quarterly in advance. So on 1st January you receive for Jan, Feb and March. On 1st April you receive for April, May and June, and so on and so forth. The annual rent has been 24,000 for some years, but it was increased to 30,000 from July. So until July it was 24,000, but after July the annual rent became 30,000. So first let's calculate the rent until 1st July. So that would be Jan, Feb and March, April, May and June, July, August. Okay, that's it. So how many months is that? January, February, March, April, May and June. So for 6 months. So for 6 months the rent is going to be 24,000, and for the rest of the 6 months my rent is going to be 30,000. I hope you are able to understand what I'm trying to say. Again, let's count the months again. January, February, March, April, May and June. The entire June as well, right? So how are we going to go about it? Take a second and try to solve it by yourself, and make sure you check the year over here. The year is not 31st December. The year is 31st January, which means my year begins from 1st of Feb, right? So how many months is it? February, March, April, May and June. It is 5 months. So 24,000 will be used for 5 months, which is 5 by 12. That would give me 10,000, and then the rest of the months would be on 30,000, right? So my 7 by 12, 30,000. So that is going to give me 17500. So what is my total which comes to my PNL? That would be addition of the two, which would give me 27,500. I hope you are clear till here, right? Now, when was the last, my year ends on 1st Feb, right? On 1st Feb my year ends, but on 1st January I received for Jan, Feb and March, right? Are you understanding my point? My year ends by Feb, but on 1st January I received advance for 3 months, which means 2 months are advanced, 2 months are prepaid. So 2 by 12 of 30,000 was also prepaid in my last January, which would be 5,000. Okay, so 5,000 is prepaid. So my answer for question number 167 would be D actually. Okay, moving on to question number 168. On 1st May 2000, Bao commenced business and paid an annual rent charge of 1800 for the period to 30 April. So business was commenced on 1st May, okay? But he paid the rent for the period to 30 April, okay? So what? Just leave it over there. What is the charge to Bao's P&L statement? So what is my year of concern? 1st December previous year to 30 November this year. That would be my year of concern, right? So the Bao commenced his business on 1st May, alright, but he paid rent for the period to 30 April. So he paid for 1st May 2000 to 30 April. For this month he paid. For this entire period he paid. But he actually started the business in May only. You're getting the point. So May to April, for the entire year rent he paid 1800. Read the question again and try to come up with the answer. So this is the period for which the rent has been paid. Now we have to basically just adjust it with the year of our concern. So from 1st December to 30 November, what is involved? So December, Jan, Feb, March, April. 5 months. 5 months out of these belong to this year, right? You understanding the point? Read again. Try to form an opinion by underlining the keywords in the question. 1st May, Bao commenced the business. and annual rent charge is 1800 for the period 1st May 2000 to 30 April next year. But what is my year of concern? My year of concern is 1st December the previous year to 30 November 2000. Okay, so from May to 30 November is what is concerned with this year, right? That would be May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So 7 upon 12 is what is up to the year, up to the month November is what belongs to this year, right? So that would be 7 by 12 multiplied by annual charge, which is 1050. So 1050 belongs to this month. Okay. Now, what is my prepayment here? Up till November, up till December, we have done. Are you understanding my point? January, February, March, April. The entire December, the entire January, the February, March and April. The 5 months I have prepaid. Right. So 1800 into 5 upon 12 would be my prepayment, which is 750. So 1050 come up with the answer, choose the answer. We just discussed the whole thing. So our answer is going to be A. 1050 is in the P&L and 750 is my statement of financial position. At 1st September, the motor expenses account showed 4 months insurance prepaid and fuel costs accrued of 95. During September, the outstanding fuel bill was paid plus further bills. Very simple. Whenever you see a question like this, you are going to make the account, whether it is an expense account or an income account. In this question, it is an expense account, so we make an expense account. We have two sides, the credit as well as the debit side. I hope you remember the formulas of both the accounts. In expense, we always have opening prepaid over here, closing prepaid over here, opening accrued over here, closing accrued over here. And whenever you have an expense, money goes out of the bank. So we have bank over here and we have statement of P&L over here. So read the question and see what goes where. On 1st September, the motor account showed 4 months insurance prepaid of 80. So we have opening prepaid of okay, and insurance prepaid of 18, fuel cost accrued at 95. So my opening accrued is also given in the question, which is 95. During September, the outstanding fuel bill was paid. So outstanding fuel bill, which was 95, it was paid from the bank, and further bills of 245 were also paid from the bank. Okay. At 30 September, there was a further outstanding fuel bill of 120. So outstanding. So my accrued, closing accrued is given in the question. Is anything else given in the question? No. That's it. But are we going to start balancing? Read the question again. Read it again. The motor expenses account showed 4 months insurance prepaid of 80 and fuel costs accrued of 95. 4 months prepaid. Okay. At 1st September. The year is ending at 1st September. Sorry, the year is ending at the end of September. So 1 month has been used. The rest of the 3 months are still in my prepaid. So I'll do 3 by 4 multiplied by 80, which will give me 60. Now do the balancing and you'll get the statement of P&L. I hope you can do it by yourself. I'll just give you the answer. It is 385. Again, if you're having any doubts and if you're still not able to solve the questions, go and check out the playlist and see the chapter explanation video, and then you can come to this, because I'm not going into the detail of every question in this. The electricity account of a business for the year ended 30 June 2003 was as follows. So all this is given. What was the expenses charged to the P&L and accrual? Okay. So how do you do this question? Again, expense, you have all this given. Straight away make an expense account. The first thing you need to do is make an expense account and see the year which we are concerned about, 30 June. 30 June. So 1st July 2002 to 30 June 2003 is my year of concern. Let's make an expense account. Formula again, we know that in expense we always have opening prepaid over here, we have closing prepaid over here, we have opening accrued over here, we have closing accrued over here, bank and P&L. Going back to the question, opening balance for accrued electricity is 300. So we have opening accrued which is 300 in the question. Payments made during the year. What all payments have been made? The entire thing went out of the bank. So add all of this and put it out of the bank. Entire amount which went out of the bank. Okay. Let's go back to the question. Now let's go into the detail. 1st August 2002 for 3 months to 30 July 2002, 600. So what months do that include? July, July, June and May of 2002, right? But what is my year of concern? My year of concern starts from July, right? My year of concern starts from July. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? Read it again. Okay, let's see it in a very simple manner so that you don't get confused. Months up to 30 July 2002. Does it belonging to this year? Yes, it does. It belongs to this year. 3 months up to 30 October. Does it belong to this year? Yes, it does. Does it belong to this year? Yes, it does. Does this belong to this year? No. Why? Because my year ends at January. Why? Because my year ends at 30 June 2003. Think about it. Again, my year ends at 30 June 2003, not January. See, that's the mistake you can make in the exam. We might just get confused with the year. So my year ends at 30 June. Alright. So my year ends at 30 June. Here I have made the payment only till April. So I have to make the payment of May and June. So 2 months is accrued. 2 months payment they haven't made. Right. I haven't made. So 2 months is my accrued. So 2 by 3 of 840 will be my closing accrued. 2 by 3 and 840. I hope you're understanding how I did that. Now just do your balancing and you'll get the answer. The answer will be 3320. Okay. So that is our 170 question. Now let's go to 171. 171, the annual insurance premium for Shan for the period 1st July to 30 June was 13,200, which is 10% more than the previous year. Okay, so first let's find the previous year. So this year it is 13,200, right? Okay, the previous year, let's see what the value of previous year is. Previous year is X. X plus 10% of X is this year's value, which is 13,200. That is what is given in the question. That is what they are trying to explain. So if you solve this equation, you will get the value of the previous year. So the value of the previous year will come to 12,000. I'm not going into the detail. I hope you are solving it along with me. Otherwise, there's no point of watching this video. Okay, so my previous year's value would be 12,000. My this year's value is basically 13,200. So insurance premiums are paid on 1st July, but what is the statement for the year ended 31st December? So until July, so again, the year is ending at 31st December 2003. So my year of concern is for, oops, what did I just do? Yeah. So my year of concern is 1st Jan 2003 to 31st December 2003. So Jan to July is a separate year, and July to December is a separate year because we are paying our insurance on 1st of July. So for 6 months we carry out the interest on the previous year, and for the rest of the 6 months we carry out the interest on the new year. So how are we going to do that? Think about it for a second. 6 by 12 into 12,000 is the previous year. 6 by 12 into 13,200 is the new year. Whatever you get, 6,000 plus 6,600, the final value will go to my PNL, which is 12,600. I hope you understood it. Okay. Let's go to the question number 172. Farthing Company's year end is 30 September. So if it ends at 30 September, 1st October to 31st September is my accounting period. On 1st January 2006, Farthing Company took out a loan of 100,000 with annual interest of 12,000. The interest is payable in equal installments on the first day of April, July and October in arrears. What do you mean by arrears? Arrears means instead of advance, when the months are over, you are paying for it. Like in the previous question, we saw that on Jan, we are paying for Jan, Feb and March. In this question, on March, we are paying for Jan, Feb and March. So for the year which has over, which has been, for the months which have been over, we are paying for that late. That's what arrears mean. Arrears are basically accruals. So now we need to see how much should be charged to the PNL for the year ended 30 September 2006. Okay, how do you do that? Okay, so I hope you understood how to get the PNL value. So the PNL value is going to be 9 upon 12. Why? Because Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. That's 9 months into the 12% rate. This would come to my PNL. Now, if you see, on 1st October, you are paying for July, August and September. July, August and September you are paying on 1st October, but the year ends at 30 September. So 3 months is accrued, right? You getting my point? So 3 months is accrued. So 3 by 12 into 1,000,000 into 12% would give me 3,000. So 3,000 is my accrued. So what is my answer in 172? B, because here it's 0. So my answer is B. Okay. On 1st January 2003, a business had prepaid insurance of 10,000. On 1st August 2003, it paid it in full the annual insurance invoice of 36,000 to cover 12 months. So now we need to find this. What did I say? Whenever you see a question like this, what are you going to do? You are straight away going to make an account. So in this case, we are making an expense account, right? Do you want me to make it here? It will be easier for you. Okay, I'll just make it over here. So we have an expense account. Again, in expense, we have opening prepaid over here. We have closing prepaid over here. Opening accrued over here, closing accrued over here, bank expense to bank. So we have bank over here and we have PNL over here. Let's read the question and put it as it is. What is, we have opening prepaid 10,000 given in the question. It paid 36,000, so bank money goes out of the bank 36,000. Okay, now we need to find the thing. What is the year of concern? 1st Jan 2003 to 31st December 2003. Okay. So on 1st August, it paid in full to cover 12 months. So August, September, October, November, December. Okay, until July it paid. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So 7 months it is basically prepaying us. So my closing prepaid will be 7 by 12 into 36,000, which will be 21,000. Now you just have to do the balancing and you'll get the P and L. What is my P and L? My P and L will be 25,000. Also 7 months it's prepaying, so 21,000 will be my prepayment. Easy. Okay, now let's read 174. This is very easy. B is my answer. Accrued income will obviously increase your profit. Last question. On 9th October, Pink paid the heat and power bill for 3 months ended 30 September. The bill included a meter rental charge for 3 months ending 1st December and the usage charge. Okay. So my 3 months ended to 30 September. The bill included this much. How much? So my year is ending at 30 October. October. So my year is ending at October. So how much did I prepay over here? November and December. 2 months have been prepaid. 2 months have been prepaid over here. Right, in 175. So 60 into 2 by 3 will give me 40. So 40 rent has been prepaid. Where is it? Rental prepayment of 40. My answer is C, but we'll still discuss the next part, even though we found the answer. Usage charge of 135 for 3-month period ending September. So October, 1 entire month payment is accrual. They haven't paid it yet. So 1 by 3 into 135 will give you 45 accrual. My answer is C. So that is it with this chapter. In the next video, we will be solving the rest of the exam kit questions of the next chapter. In case you have any doubts, feel free to comment and check out the playlist in the description box below. Thank you.